All right. Hey, this is Nick from Kinetic, and thanks for checking out our series from the floor. Like I always say, one of our goals at Kinetic is just improving the level of education in the industry. So we're putting out this series to kind of talk to different brokers, give some quick hitting tips on best practices, common mistakes, just general brokering advice. And today I've got Tyler from Steam Logistics. Tyler, you want to do a quick intro? Thanks for being on.
Hey Nick, yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate you reaching out and getting me involved with these. I think it's very beneficial to all new brokers and even older brokers like myself that need to refresh on certain little tactics that can help us in our day to day or from year to year. So thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no, of course, man. And you're right. Like I'm not like a lot of these things aren't reinventing the wheel, but people need reminders of a lot of things so they don't forget about them because the day to day is so hectic. And today, like we specifically want to talk about a few like philosophies or attributes that are important for brokers to develop. It takes a really unique skill set to do well in this industry. And like you pointed out a few that have been important to you over the years. So we'll throw things over to you. What's the first one that jumps to mind?
Yeah, great question. The first one that jumps to my mind is greatness requires grit, and this is actually one of our maxims here at Steam. But and I rely heavily on it every day, especially with the large team that I manage. But over the years, as I've gotten involved in the transportation industry, really starting out when I was 3 years old in the car seat with my grandfather, understanding that there's guys out there that are getting dirty, strapping loads down, loading trucks up. It takes everyone in the supply chain to get the job done at the end of the day. And for myself, just remembering that it takes everyone to get it done, and that the greatness that you're going to become one day, it takes time to get there. So that grit and grind, day in and day out, putting forth a good effort for yourself and for your company, can really get you where you want to be in a quick manner. So I'm only 28 years old, by the way, and I'm already the senior vice president of sales. And I don't think that's a testament to, I think that's a testament to just the hard work and the greatness, requires grit mentality that I've always put forth.
Yeah, I like that a lot. So like putting words to it, greatness requires grit. Is that something you encountered at Steam, or did you come across that phrase beforehand?
It is something that I came across at Steam, and it's really resonated with me. But when I was interviewing, or really not interviewing, but talking with Steve Cox and Jason Provancha coming on board, my biggest gripe at my last company was that I was in a room full of workers, but not hardworking people. And I was the hardest worker, in my opinion. And I got sick of working with people that didn't want to work as hard as me. So when I got the opportunity to come on at Steam, that was something that Jason and Steve told me from day one, was you're never going to have a day where you're feeling like you're the only one working the hardest out of everyone in the company. And I've truly felt that over the last year and a half since I've been here, from the top down. Steve's on the ball on LinkedIn, this whole non-compete crusade. Jason's out on the road a lot. He does a lot of podcasts, stuff like that, getting our name out there. And then just from a leadership standpoint, always being there. And they, at the end of the day, if the phones are ringing and they're walking by and people are struggling to get them all answered, they'll pick up the phone and sell a load. They do not care, and I think it really starts at the top. If the top's doing the hard work and the stuff that not everybody wants to do, but we have to do it, it's really gone a long ways for myself, and obviously helped me lead a very phenomenal team as well. So
no, I mean, like it's funny how like being around that kind of those kinds of people can really help you like elevate yourself, and just having them say things like that can have such a big impact on your life. So I'm really glad you brought that one up. What's the next one? What else is out there that jumps out to you?
Yeah, I this is more of a kind of a philosophy, but I've a freight nerd. I've worked in all the spectrums of the supply chain, whether it be the shipper side, as a driver. I've worked as a picker, picking tickets. I've worked as the forklift operator. So, at the end of the day, having that empathy, I guess, more or less, for the shippers that I'm talking to, whether I hear a forklift in the background, I'm like, oh my gosh, that noise gives me PTSD. Are you about to hop on a forklift? You know, just understanding exactly what each person in the supply chain has to handle, and how important each role is, because I can't do it without the drivers. I can't do it without the shippers. All the drivers out there really can't do it without the brokers, and you know, we can't do it without the shippers. In turn, you know, it takes all of us at the end of the day. And so if everyone kind of took a step back and you know, remember a little bit of emotional intelligence, I guess, but having that empathy for one another in the supply chain, whether you're talking to a shipper or a driver or a broker talking to a shipper or a driver, whatever it may be, we've got to understand at the end of the day, we're all human. We all have a job to do, and most people want to do their best job. It's just things don't always work out as planned. So having that empathy and understanding exactly what each person and what their role and their expectations are, then we can all do a lot more together. So
yeah, so I really like that you mentioned the empathy stuff. Moving on to the third thing, like what was the third point that you wanted to bring up?
Honesty and integrity. Don't think that we talk about this enough in the industry. I know a lot of guys say they talk about it, whether they're preaching it and actually putting it into play every day is another thing. You know, we all have those hard loads or those hard times where we're trying to get a truck in there for pickup by a certain cutoff time, or we got a load that's broken down that's very important to the customer, and providing that, you know, clean, concise information over to them in a timely manner while actually telling the truth can be tough for especially newer reps in the industry. Just delivering that bad news, I guess, more or less. But the quicker that you can deliver that bad news and understand that you're founded and you were grown up and taught to tell the truth and be honest and be have integrity about the work you do, you know, those shippers start to catch on that when things go wrong and you always do tell the truth. You know, they understand when the driver's mother's cat dies and he's got to go home to take care of his mom because his mom's about to have a mental breakdown or something. You know, when those crazy things come up, if you've always told the truth and been, you know, had integrity about your work, your shipper's more or less going to understand that you are being honest, and it's going to take you a lot further. You're going to see a lot more freight, and just have stickier relationships with those people, you know. And I kind of take it back to freight, and it's kind of like dating, you know. If you're lying to your girlfriend or to your fiance or to your wife all the time, you're probably not going to have that, you know, significant other in your life. So same goes with a shipper. You're kind of dating them before you get married to them, and so on and so forth. You're really, when you're reaching out cold calls, it's like you're trying to get a first date. So the more you are honest and have integrity about your work, which I've always taken into account with my work, it's really done me well. Even when just a flat tire or something, you know, it's always come full circle for me. And a lot of those customers, I've seen a lot more contracted freight because they know that I'm going to take care of them when the time comes. So being honest and having integrity is a huge part.
I like what you said about how it, like even early on in the relationship, kind of sets the stage for the further development. I mean, I had a guy who initially kind of like taught me a lot about sales, and he talked about it even in the portion where they're just a prospect of yours, right? And you're cold calling them. And he said that like if they ask you to call them back on like Thursday at 2:00, call them back at Thursday at 2:00.
Yep.
It lets them know what they're getting themselves into. It sets the stage for the rest of your relationship. So I really like that you brought that one up. That one's good.
Consistency is part of that too, you know.
Oh yeah.
If you're being consistent with those times, then they're gonna give you more apt to give you an opportunity because you're following along and being honest with your operation.
Oh yeah. And like talking about the like driver whose cat's sick or whatever, it becomes the boy who cried wolf, right? If every day your driver's 30 minutes late and it's like, oh, he's stuck at his previous consignee or whatever, they stop believing you. So I mean, it's setting that stage and like actually building that foundation of honesty. I like that a lot. What's the fourth one? You've got 5. We're on number 4.
Fourth one would be multitasking. Not only like, obviously it's very important at work as a broker or as a dispatcher or even on the shipper side. You're working with tons of different partners. You're trying to get in with multiple different accounts or carriers or brokers or whatever spectrum you're on. But on the other end of things, I think multitasking with your family and friends and your social life is very important as well, because a lot of people kind of lose sight of themselves in this industry, I would say. They get so focused on the money and the time that they're investing to build what they're building out, which I think is phenomenal. But to be, we're all human at the end of the day. We want to go have fun. And if you continue to just, you don't go out and have fun, or you don't take care of your wife, or you don't take care of your girlfriend, or whoever, your significant other, or your friends, whatever it may be, you're going to get burnt out, So taking the time to kind of set things to the side, set it down, whether it might just be going to dinner or throwing football with a friend or whatever it may be, set it down for a few minutes and be able to know and trust your team and your company that y'all have the correct resources in place to continue doing a good job for your customers, so that you can get a break to then do better for your customer later on down the road too. So multitasking, not only just at work, obviously it's very important sitting in the broker chair, but from a family and friend and social aspect as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it ties into the work-life balance stuff, and I'm glad you brought it up under the theme of multitasking, because it's tough to have that like real like night and day split with work-life balance, I'm afraid. Like, it's not like 5 o'clock comes, your day ends,
right
now it's like family time,
right?
Like, to me, it's always been more of a like work-life relationship, if you will.
Yep.
Because like, if I can come home, watch a movie with my kids on a Friday night, and like pop into my computer afterwards for like half an hour to finish up some work, like that's cool, right? Like, I have the flexibility to do that. Like, that's work-life balance to me. So like, I like that you tie that into the multitasking aspect.
Yeah, I had to give a little shout out to my wife, because she's always, whether it's 9 p.m. on a Friday and I'm trying to get some air shipment covered or whatever it may be, she, this morning I was talking with her about it. She said, well, you better give me a shout out on there. And that could be tied into multitasking, but yeah, it does. It's, you got to find time to set it down, but also in my role as a manager, I got to be there for my people. So if I can take 5 minutes to shoot a quick Teams message or a quick email to help them out in the evening, and that frees up the rest of my 4-hour evening, then 5 minutes here and there shooting a little message is no big deal to me, So just finding the time to multitask, whether I'm changing the baby's diaper and trying to shoot a Teams message or send a Raycon, whatever it may be. You got to find the time. So
I think everyone's significant other and kids in this industry probably deserve a shout out every now and then. You're right about that.
They do. Shout out to all the wives and husbands out there that are helping their
dealing with folks in logistics.
Get their freight. So
what's the what's the last one? What's like skill number 5?
I think this last one is, obviously honesty and integrity is very important, but to me, patience has been key. Went to UT Knoxville for school. I really didn't like school. I always loved trucking. I'd driven a truck, had got my CDLs when I was 18, driving a dump truck, hauling hay. Really didn't want to go to school. Went to school, and had the patience to get through school. When I got out of school, a lot of my friends were already finding success, getting these big jobs at the Big Four as accounting firm or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm going to go be a freight broker. And they're like, oh, good luck, And, I kind of put my head down and really worked hard, whether it was, challenging myself to make 100 phone calls a day or 250 a day, whatever it was, to make myself better at this industry. Michael Jordan didn't get good at turning around jumpers overnight, like he took years and years of his life to learn that, that turnaround jumper to win championships. And same with like Cristiano Ronaldo. He didn't just get good at free kicks overnight. He probably kicks a ball 1,000 times a day, trying to hit the left top corner of the net, just that one little corner, So I kind of try to apply that to freight world, and understanding that the good will come to the people that work hard for it, and the ones that put in the effort and time to want to learn their craft and hone in on their craft. You just got to have that patience, because the good ones and the good things in life, they don't, it just doesn't happen overnight. You've got to work hard for it. You've got to have that patience to get to where you want to go. So that's my little take on the 5 things that have really, or philosophies that have kind of gotten me to where I am today.
No, man, like I really like the patience one. I think people kind of gloss over how much hard work it goes into things when they see successful people.
Yeah.
I mean, one of my favorite anecdotes on this is a buddy of mine in college he was like a child prodigy playing the organ, which sounds weird, but he was an organ prodigy as a kid. And he always took issue with people calling him a child prodigy, because he's like, yeah, I was really good at playing the organ, but I was also 6 years old playing the organ 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't just wake up, like, be born amazing at organ playing. Like, I was practicing constantly as I was a kid. And I think there's like a lot of similarities between that and people who are just good at their jobs in general. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of work. Yeah. I'm glad you brought it up.
Awesome. Yeah, it's been probably the hardest part for me in my career. Is just, you want everything, and especially in this day and age, you want everything right now. Pick your phone up and you can order a new set of sunglasses or whatever it is online. You can look up anything you want online at your fingertips. So in sales, that it's not the case. That's a good thing though, because if people were just opening their doors and sending you a credit app on every call, then I probably wouldn't have, I'd have a lot of customers, but not much freight, because they'd just be watered down. So kind of back to the load list thing that I've heard you talk about from time to time, but we won't go there today.
Yeah, no, man, that was all great advice. I appreciate you taking time to sit down today. We're intentionally keeping these short so that people can have some just quick, digestible tips on brokerage best practices and stuff. But the industry is really nuanced. These are complicated subjects. There's always more to learn. Tyler, if someone wants to reach out to you, how do they do it?
Tell them to find me on LinkedIn or shoot me an email at tyler.montgomery@steamlogistics.com. My cell phone and everything else should be on my LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to help and see where we could help out, get you loaded, or even if you're a shipper, I'd be happy to help out as well. So Nick, thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks for being on. All right, looking forward to seeing more from you and the whole group at Steam Logistics.
Awesome, man. Talk to you soon.